ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीराम जय जय राम। 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 जय जय राम। ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं दनुजवनकृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। We will chant the shloka for Puja Gurudev. ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Yesterday, while concluding the introduction, we started the backdrop of how this Navada Bhakti actually started. Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra Ji gives this beautiful knowledge of Navada Bhakti to Shabari Ji. When he comes to Shabari Ji, she wonders, Bhagavan, I am a low caste person. I am an illiterate. But even to me you have blessed. I have no words to say. And Shabariji was moved with lot of emotions. In fact, this is one of the Bhakta Lakshana. It is not that Bhagavan has to come in front to be emotional and moved. The very thought of Bhagavan, the very Nama of Bhagavan is sufficient for them that they become emotional and all the love towards Bhagavan starts pouring. We have seen in many occasions where people, while singing the Nama of Bhagavan, while singing the Bhajan of Bhagavan, they get into so much of emotional feelings that tears roll down in their cheeks. But Bhagavan, Bhagavan is Bhagavan after all. He says, Hey Mata, no other qualification is required for bhakti except bhakti. The only qualification for bhakti is bhakti alone. Nothing matters. Status, position, money, family, nothing matters. Education. All that matters is, we will see in our Navadha Bhakti. Yesterday we chanted that shloka. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoh Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. If you consciously see any of the bhakti listed here, none of them talk of any kind of other qualification. And finally, the destination is Atmanivedanam. The ego has to be surrendered. That is all what Bhagavan wants. And therefore, Bhagavan says, you are completely eligible for this bhakti. Therefore, now see, how much are we eligible for this bhakti is always questionable. But look at that eligibility of Mata Shabariji, that Bhagavan himself had to come and give her that knowledge. Therefore, what more eligibility is required? And Bhagavan starts giving this, what you call it as, Navadha Bhakti to Shabariji. We will now chant the first two lines of this Bhakti Shastra, and then we will proceed. Bhagavan says, Navadha bhagati kahavu tohi pahi, savadhan sunu dharu manamahi, prathama bhagati santana kar sanga, dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Hey Mata, savadhana sunu. Sunu means listen. We have always been telling, listening is not just hearing which goes through cross ventilation. Listening is giving our mind completely in listening. Savadhana, keep your mind calm. Now this is another very important point. We also listen. I hear some of our members also who say, Swamiji, early morning 6:30 is difficult, so we listen to it later. By around 11 o'clock, while cooking in the kitchen, I keep the mobile there, and while cooking, I listen. Nobody comes and disturbs. Nobody need not disturb. Our own mind is sufficient. Think. External world cannot disturb. Please understand this point very clearly. External world cannot disturb until I give them the permission to disturb me. As long as I allow them to disturb me, the world will disturb. Otherwise, world cannot disturb. Right? So, savadhana sunu, when it is said, listen carefully. Hey Manamahi, my mind I will now express. Please listen. And what is it that I'm going to tell you? Navadha bhagati. Navadha, 9 forms of bhakti. Kahamu tohi mahi. I will now tell you. Why 9 forms is required? In fact, 9 forms are not required. If we select one and be convicted to that, when we have conviction to that, not convicted, conviction towards that, you will find all the others follow. But as I said on the first day, according to our quality and texture of thoughts that we entertain, a particular form of bhakti appears convenient. I am able to connect to Bhagavan in a particular form. Like somebody may be interested in listening to bhajans. Another person may be interested in listening to the Leela. There are 6 forms. Nama, Rupa, Dhama, Guna, Leela, Katha. There are 6 forms. In all these 6 forms, one of them we can take. Some of them would like Leela, some of them would like Katha. Like children, if you tell the Katha of Ramchandraji, they would be more interested. And if you sing the bhajan of Ramchandraji, probably, they might be interested but may not be as good as Katha. There are some elderly people who would like to, listen. Some of them would like to sing. So there are so many ways. Each one have their own ways. Therefore, Navadha Bhakti is given. And now, Prathama Bhagati Santana Kara Sangha. What is the first bhakti? Now, this is very interesting. In all the 3, Tulsi Ramayan, Adhyatma Ramayan, and in Bhagavatam, the first form of devotion is listening. Listening is very, very important. As long as we don't listen, we will not know. If we do not know, it is not possible for developing that love for God. Unless I know something about somebody, to develop an appreciation, to develop some kind of love towards that person is not possible. And what to talk of Bhagavan? Why should I love that person? Whether it is Krishna, person la Bhagavan, la Krishna, or Rama, or Ganapati, or Hanumanji, or Devi, whomever we choose, unless we know something about that God which connects me, which comes in line with my way of thinking, to have love for that God is difficult. I wouldn't say impossible, but definitely difficult. Therefore, listening to the glories of Bhagavan is the first important aspect of Navadha Bhakti. Adhyatma Ramayana says, Satam Sangatireka Sangatirevatra Sadhanam Prathamam Smritam. First one, Prathamam Sadhanam Sangatireva Atra Satam. Satam meaning Sat Purusha, Sat Sangha is the first, bhakti. Now see, I get to know about Bhagavan, as I said, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Dhama, Leela, Katha. All these are available only in Satsang. When I say Satsang, there are 2 types of Satsang. One is, I actually go to a formal Satsang that is happening and listen to a Mahatma, to a teacher, to a Harikathakara, etc. The other one is, Satsang starts from our birth itself. Our own mother is the first guru. Is it not? right from childhood. Mother, grandmother, everybody, every day, most of the children, when they sleep, they want some story. So what do? They come and tell all good stories, that which will develop good qualities in the mind. Through listening, one develops love for Bhagavan. Very many children love Krishna Leela. Through Krishna Leela, the stories of Krishna, the gunas of Krishna. In fact, Bhagavan is attributeless from the highest standpoint. But from the avatara standpoint, gunas are attributed to them so that I may develop such gunas. Through satsang, what do I listen? I listen the glory of Bhagavan. And very interestingly, we must understand, the glories of Bhagavan, be it Krishna or Rama or Hanumanji or Devi or anybody for that matter, all the gunas are those which we can develop. We are not talking about the Leela. Leela, as Bhagavan, they have got certain extra powers, etc. Therefore, they may do. But from the guna standpoint, all of us can develop the gunas which are portrayed in the form of Rama, in the form of Krishna, Hanumanji, whatever. Therefore, listening is very important. The first and foremost. Knowing about a Bhagavan is very, very important, because without knowing, as I said, love cannot come towards Bhagavan. Now see, knowledge without love is mere intellectual noise. Knowledge without love is mere intellectual noise. And it is very dry, very boring. Very many times people feel bored in satsanga is because, one, they don't have the knowledge. Two, they could not develop love towards Bhagavan or the Shastra because they don't have the knowledge. And because of that, it appears to be boring. But when we give some interest, listen carefully, then the glories of Bhagavan will develop some kind of love towards Bhagavan, and it is on us how to develop it to the highest level. Therefore, knowledge is required. Love also has to be developed. We must have love for Bhagavan, because love without knowledge is superstition, fanatism. Knowledge without love is total noise. Therefore, knowledge and love are the two wings of the plane, we may say, for our understanding. Both of them are equally important, and knowledge of the Lord, which will bring love for the Lord, is gained only through satsang. Then, satsang is one place where all our wrong thinking are highlighted. When I say highlighted, it is not for the public to know my wrong thinking. It is for me, myself, to know how wrongly I have been thinking until now. How negatively I have been taking myself to be. How small I have taken myself to be. How limited I have taken myself to be. All these are highlighted, meaning it is brought out in satsanga by the Guru. And there, when I come to realize that I have not taken myself rightly, my contact with myself itself is wrong. Let alone the world, let alone the people. My contact with myself itself is not perfect. This is highlighted in the satsang. Nowhere in the world, in no schools or colleges, this will be highlighted. They talk about the objective world, but the subjective world is given to us, is made known to us in the satsang. That is why Shravanam. 2. Only in the satsang we actually come to know about the Lord in the right way. Because there, even the atmosphere is very good. Very conducive atmosphere. And it makes a lot of difference. We don't understand many times. People sitting along with us in a satsang, even their thinking contributes to the vibration which makes our mind focus. Let us suppose, if somebody sitting next to me is not interested, and when you are not interested, you can't sit straight, you can't sit with a sthira position. Therefore, all that cheshta we will be doing. We might be bending, trying to see what is there. So many cheshtas we will be doing. Then what happens? Even the person on both the sides will get distracted. Therefore, when the whole participants, when they are connected to the teacher, you will find the mind also becomes quiet, collected, composed, and such a mind will listen to very carefully. And by listening, the mind is occupied in positive thinking. Now look at this. While the teacher is bringing out the glories of Bhagavan, in this case Ramchandraji took an avatar and lived like a common man with all of us, as though all of us means people during that time. When the glories of Ramchandraji is given, I come to understand living as an avatar Purusha in the world like any other common man, how could he think with so much of nobility? How is it that I am not able to think? Why is it that I am not able to follow? All these, the mind will start thinking. The mind will become more positive. The mind will drop one by one the negativities. And in every story you will find there is some Rakshasa. Who is a Rakshasa? Our own mind. Rakshasa has got certain qualities. Now, if let us suppose you write 2 checklists, Rama, Ravana, and then you write certain qualities of Ramchandraji and qualities of a Rakshasa. In qualities of a Rakshasa, we will not appreciate anything. In qualities of Rama, we cannot find a fault. While thus marking the checklist, we also silently will check within ourselves. This I don't have. This I have it in full. Think. This kind of quality and texture of thoughts to activate in my mind, Satsanga is very important. That is why Acharya Shankara in Sadhana Panchakam said, Sangaha Satsu Vidhiyatam. And another statement, Bhavasukhe Doshaha Anusandhiyatam. I have to see the dosha in the world. How will I see? With the teaching given in the satsang, with that knowledge, the world will never change. World remains the same. But my vision, my outlook of the world changes from validating the worldly objects and being as the source of joy to validating them as not the source of joy. This knowledge of the world not being the source of my subjective joy is given only in satsang. That is why when we listen to Ramchandraji's Katha, Atma Ramaha Anandaramanaha. Atma Rama, the one who remains with himself, meaning he has no dependency in the world outside. This thought is given in the satsang, and I have to listen to that to get activated. Otherwise, it has not been my cup of tea all these years. I have always thought the world is a source of my, like they say, boost, the secret of my energy. And for us, world and objects and people have become the source of my energy, source of my joy. And therefore, suffering guaranteed. Disturbance guaranteed. Supplied free. By whom? By myself. Think. The world does not supply even suffering. The world cannot supply disturbance to me. The world cannot do anything to me. Everything is my mind. That is why one of the acharyas very beautifully said, mind matters. Another person said, mind alone matters. Third one said, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. These are the states we are in. Our mind, if it is engaged in validating the external world as the source of joy, suffering guaranteed. And in satsang, the teacher teaches us. What does he teach? I am the source of my own happiness and my own sorrow. I alone am the source. And thus, having highlighted this, the teacher in the satsang gives us the right direction to think. He puts us in the right path. For what we are, very many times we slip out of the path, but again the Guru puts us back into the path. That is why he is called as Karunamayi. Think. He brings us again and again, again and again. He shows us the right destination. We have set a wrong goal generally. What is the wrong goal? Only maybe some degree in education, maybe some position in my field of, professional field, etc., etc. But it is only the Guru who gives us the right destination. What is the right destination? We will come to that. Our own true nature, knowing our own true nature, and not what we think we are actually. This knowledge is given only in the satsang. Therefore, the right destination, the right path, and highlighting all the wrong things which we are doing and educating how to cross over, how to get over such wrong thinking, such negative involvements, and then come to the path of truth. This only in satsang we can get, and through the satsang we can withdraw our mind and rechannelize our energies into the right activity. Then we find so many statements in the Shastra Like, for example, the immediate text which we took previously, Bhajagovindam says, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatattvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi. Jivan Mukti is our destination. That is the goal of human life. When Jivan Mukti is the goal of actual goal of human life, what are we doing? We are again and again drowning into samsara alone. The best part is knowingly we slip down. And then, we call them Kutarka Buddhivada. They will give example of somebody else and say, Swamiji, people like them only fall. What can we people do? We are all common people. You know what? Common, normal, sensible human being will not do it. Why? Because we have an intelligence. But the problem is our priorities have not been that supreme. Therefore, priorities keeps changing time and again, and we slip time and again. And it is in satsang alone we get this knowledge, where how to get up if I fall, and how conscious can I be not to fall again. We might fall several times, but still the satsang helps us to gain that strength. What strength? Atma Bala, our inner strength. Now see, in our life, when we slip, the first time will be disastrous slip. Second time also will be bad. But slowly, because of satsang, the quality of the slip also will change. Over a period of time, you will find you will not even notice a slip. Why? The mind has started focusing on the higher. And then you won't slip. Why? The mind is not available for slipping down. The mind is not available for falling down. The mind is hooked on to the higher. Every step of our life, how can we gain sthirata, is given only in a satsang. So what does satsang do here? Satsangatve nissangatvam. Through satsang, I come to know how much I have attached to unwanted things and beings of the world, and how much can I change and attach myself to the higher. The sadhana chatushtayam, viveka, vairagya, shamadhi shatka sampatti, and mumukshutvam. These are the first lessons. What is viveka? An ability to discriminate between the right and wrong. What I had been thinking as right is beautifully, logically, scientifically, rationally proved that it is wrong, and the Shastras again scientifically, rationally, intellectually proves that this is what is the right way of thinking. When I thus don't come in front of the Acharya and listen to them, there is no room for me to correct my error. This correction of error is possible only in satsang. Therefore, Satsang is most important. The Satsanga Mahima can be talked for long, giving lot of examples, our own life's examples. In fact, let me confess, until I came to the talk of Parampuja Gurudev, I never thought there is something called spirituality. I used to take my mother to the temple, leave her in the temple and play with the boys outside. Pakka atheist. I would never want to go into a temple at that age, the childhood. What I had against God, I didn't know at that time. But I never would go. But why? Probably because I did not get a logical answer for certain practices. Therefore, when I did not get a logical answer, I did not respect that. Could not revere that. I could not take it to be done, take it in the stride. But when Parampuja Gurudev in his talk gave me the right way of thinking, until then, even I was not anywhere near spirituality. Somebody dragged me to that talk. For life, for all time, I would be grateful to that person. They dragged me to that talk, literally, and made me sit. I was not a very big person at the time. I was a 10th standard boy. When I could listen to the logical derivation of our practices. Like, for example, how many of us go to temple? And what do we do in the temple? We imitate others. In a temple, we imitate others. Everybody come and close their eyes and fold their hands. I look at others, I also fold. Like small children, they don't understand anything. There is no difference even to the elder ones. Even the elderly people, no difference. They also fold their hand. They also close the eye. And they also pray. Give me that, give me this. And somebody goes for pradakshina, I also go for pradakshina. Somebody in Raghavendra temple, probably. I was wondering when I went first time to Raghavendra temple, one corner, one namaskara, then center, one namaskara, other corner, one namaskara, then center namaskara, corner namaskara, center namaskara, corner namaskara. And he said, then after this one, I asked that person, so much of namaskara you do in the temple, why do you do that? She said, I want my daughter to get married, therefore 21 Guruvara I will do this. Meaning what? Think. As a small boy, when I listen to such statement that I am doing this for a result, is it not trade? Is it not business? Think. When we go to the temple, how many of us ask, Bhagavan, I want only Atma Vidya. No one. Everyone have their own agenda when you go in front of the Lord. Even to ask for Atma Vidya, we need to be taught. We need to be taught what we should ask. Think. And to know what to ask, to know what not to ask, is given in satsangs. Think. Today, if I am sitting in front of you and speaking about this, it is because of the satsang which I unknowingly attended one day. That actually made a U-turn in me. Because Parampuja Gurudev gave me the logical answers for the questions which I had for probably decade. And once I got the answers, I found my way of thinking changing drastically, the world being the same. That is why Sangaha Satsu Vidhiyatam, and it is said, what is this Sat? From the higher standpoint, Sat is the truth, Atman, Parabrahman. We will take that later. Sat Purusha, Sat Kathana, Sat Chintana, Sat Karya, Sat Sangha. Sangha, association. All of us are driven by our own association of thought. We are dragged by our own association with the worldly things and beings. Satsanga is association with, contact with, being in tune with. With what? Sat. What is this Sat? The truth, the ultimate, Bhagavan, call it by any name you want. Such an association which withdraws my mind from unwanted, irrelevant thinking to the thoughts of the Lord, the glories of the Lord, will definitely change the quality and texture of my mind. This quality and texture of my mind decides my destination. Think. Two beautiful aspects. One, ladder of fall. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate, finally pranashyati. And the ladder of rise, satsangatve jivan muktihi. Think. Therefore, satsanga is the most important aspect in everyone's life. And sometimes we may have to force ourselves there. Doesn't matter. Initially you may have to force. Doesn't matter. Force yourself. But you will find the hammering that happens in the satsang will actually wake us up to our own wrong thinking. Therefore, Shravanam is very, very important. And Shravanam, listening to the glories of the Lord, will also develop that right way of understanding Bhagavan. Understanding Bhagavan in the right sense happens only in satsang. Therefore, Sangha, Satsanga is glorified. Think. And what that is why Rama said, Prathama Bhagati, the first form of bhakti is Santanakar Sangha. Associate with Santa Purusha. Associate with a Guru so that one may learn. Last point for today. Associate with the Guru only for the sake of learning. Not for anything else. Only for the sake of learning, our association with the Guru must be strong. There is another form of bhakti, seva, that we will come. What kind of seva we have to do, that we will come. But here, our association must be for learning, and for that learning, there are certain activities that we will see tomorrow morning. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.